Welcome to the Agents of Innovation podcast, where we feature conversations with entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and artists. Okay, we are here at Fernando's Cafe in Antigua, Guatemala. It's a really lovely spot here, and a very popular spot. It's great for coffee. Got my latte over here, Fernando, and you've got a chocolate shop right here. This is Fernando Arias. He is the owner and operator of Fernando's Cafe. Thank you for welcoming us to here in Antigua.
Happy to have you here.
Well, Fernando, I've been here a couple times. I've met you a couple times. The last time I was here, I had a really great conversation with you. The first time I was here, I was so exhausted because I just got off the Fuego and Cacao volcanoes. But I got to give a shout out to my friends Chad, Chris, and Scott. They actually woke up from their naps earlier than me, and they came over and got wakened by some coffee and got wakened by a great conversation they had with you. And they said, Francisco, you got to talk to Fernando. I said, I'm tired. We'll talk next time, and we did. So anyway, not only was I mentally tired, but I was physically tired from that volcano. But anyway, Fernando. It's a really great place, and then I know we have a lot of other great connections. My friend Lisa Hanko at UFM knows you, and she's known you for a while. So I hear your name a lot. And when I was here, just like on your website, I noticed you told me we have the finest drugs on earth here. And I said, oh boy, what are we getting into? So Fernando, tell me about the finest drugs on earth that people can find here.
Well, the finest drugs on earth are not illegal. We're talking about coffee and cacao chocolate, and that's what we do here. Coffee, and from raw cacao, we deliver a lot of different products, based chocolate products.
Yeah, now
and spreads as well. That have chocolate.
And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes here, but I wanted to ask you a little bit more about you and your journey to running this place and starting it. First of all, you were born and raised here in Guatemala?
Guatemala City, yeah.
Guatemala City. And how long have you been in Antigua?
21 years.
Oh, wow. So just a few years after college, right? That's
yeah.
All right. So this is a podcast. The Agents of Innovation podcast is about entrepreneurship and a lot of people who are interested in entrepreneurship. So I always like to ask people a question. What was your first job in life? And could be anything as a kid or something. And then what did you learn from that?
I think I was 5. Do you remember that? It was not a game, it was a tool. The spirograph. You remember them?
No. The what? The what was it?
Spirograph.
Spirograph.
Where you could do drawings.
Like twist? Oh, no.
Round. How old are you?
43. 43.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Google it. Spirograph. It was something where you could do little symmetric forms and everything. So I was 5, and I got one for Christmas. Or next Christmas, I did Christmas cards. But I sold all my relatives, and I made a partnership with my father's drawing person, the one with the best handle, and he did all the Happy New Year, etc. etc. Was it 5?
And what did you learn from that experience?
Well, it's nice to have a business. I never made a good employee. I was never a very good employee, and actually maybe I was an employee for 2 months with my father, until I told him, listen, I already learned how to draw blueprints, something that is in the past already. At the time, every house had 14 different blueprints. I was able to make about 12. So instead of working for him, I was being paid according to what I worked.
Well, it's good. So then what was, obviously from the age of 5.
No. That was, this time I was already, 16?
16, okay. So from that point on, what was your career path like post high school through college, and how did
Then
you?
well, I started engineer, but I didn't like it. So eventually I ended up studying international trade. For many years, and actually a lot of what I do here can be considered international trade.
Yeah.
Just because of our customers. But for many years, we did grow, pack, and ship fresh asparagus and other things that we exported. And I was never good at the farm. Plants don't listen to me, that's why I didn't want to have any. So my job was actually to maximize our sales by checking on the brokers or fire them when they were useless, which was very common in the perishable business.
Yeah.
And I finally found a perfect company that we are still friends with, but we don't have asparagus anymore. We finished that in 1997.
Oh wow. So when did Fernando's Cafe open?
2000.
2000. So it's been here 21 years now.
21 years.
Was it always in this location?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's great. And so we're right, in the heart of Antigua here, and just a couple blocks over is the La Merced church. One block over from La Merced. A couple blocks to the south is or just a couple blocks from the Arch, a couple blocks from the Central Park.
5 blocks from the park.
Yeah. So, but great. You can walk here from just about anywhere in Antigua.
Yeah, Antigua is very good.
Yeah, so it's a great place. So how did it start, and how has it evolved? First of all, what did you, when you opened it, what did you offer here, and how has the business evolved since that time?
Well, we started with coffee. From day one, I was already roasting my own coffee, granted in a much smaller machine, the one that is outside. That's a 3-pounder. That I don't use anymore. And I used to roast right there. So people walking by couldn't escape the smell of the fresh coffee coming out. And we had also a basic food menu, which still is basic. We don't consider ourselves a restaurant. We are a cafe and chocolate factory that happens to have some food. Really good food, really good quality, but it's not pages and pages and pages of
Yeah, like I've had breakfast here. You've had a pretty good breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great. So it's on the website, and I think when I met you, you also mentioned that to me that you sell. Obviously, people come here for coffee. It's a cafe, but you also have a wonderful chocolate shop. And I understand in the back here, where I'm hearing a little bit of chocolate making going on right now. I think you produce some chocolate. So, what is the process like? First of all, I don't know where the coffee comes from, but also where does the chocolate come from, and what's the process like for some of the products you sell?
Okay. Coffee comes from different regions of the country. I'd like to have at least 3 different ones. This is the worst time of the year because we're almost out of coffee. The new batch is not even close to come. I'm guessing December, early December, maybe.
And is this from, do you have your own finca, or do you work with the finca?
No.
Okay.
I told you, the plants don't listen to me. No. I'm in direct contact with all the farmers.
Okay.
We don't care if they are small or big, but they have to be outstanding in quality. That's what we are really demanding, because we expect our customers to demand from us. Otherwise, we're just another place.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, that's true. So tell us a little bit, why are coffee and chocolate uniquely positioned to help grow Guatemala's, well, to help Guatemala's environment and also help grow Guatemala's economy?
Okay. Well, both crops share some things in common, and some things are complementary. For example, they don't share the same habitat. Good coffee is from the highlands.
Okay.
If you happen to have coffee in the same farm as cacao, that means that you have lousy coffee. Most likely, it's going to be robust.
So the root of coffee and chocolate, is the root the same? Like the root of how it starts? Does it start from the same plant, or are they different plants?
No.
Okay.
No. Plus, cacao is from America, Mesoamerica and South America. Coffee is from Africa, Ethiopia. But when coffee came here to America, many countries,
Yeah.
it adapted very well to the environment. And for many years, coffee was the engine driving the economy of Guatemala. That was unfortunately forgotten by the generations coming down, until now. Coffee is, the situation of coffee is precarious. But that's because they are not paying attention to it.
So what periods, roughly, if you have any years or decades that you can talk about, where coffee was really the strong driver?
I would say from late 19th century all the way to the 60s, with maybe a couple of glitches in between.
Okay.
Glitches.
Yeah.
And then it started like a cycle of about 10 years between the best price and the worst price.
Wow.
And people didn't get it. Farmers didn't get it. They continue to do the same.
So what caused the down? It's kind of interesting because I feel like as an outsider, who is somebody who's lived in Guatemala most of this year, I kind of feel like I keep learning about new coffee brands, and there must be thousands of coffee fincas and brands and in Guatemala, and so I sort of think that everybody loves their Guatemalan coffee, and when I bring it back to the States, people love it. But
yeah,
what was
how much do you pay for a bag of coffee? And I'm not saying a pound, because most likely it's going to be 12 ounces.
Okay.
How much do you pay for that?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It probably varies, like $10, $12. I don't know how much.
No, in the States.
Oh, in the States? I don't know.
Don't remember?
Yeah, I don't
How much
remember.
do
It's
you
been
pay
too
for
long.
good coffee?
Yeah. There's not that much good coffee.
No. Yes, there is. Of course there is. The U.S. is the prime destination for the Guatemalan coffee,
Okay.
and many other countries have good coffee like Colombia, etc. Also, Brazil is the biggest supplier, and Brazil has commodity coffee, but they don't sell together, nor in the same market. So a good coffee is going to be most likely single origin, and it's going to be marketed like that. Guatemala. And maybe they tell you Guatemala Antigua, or Guatemala or Guatemala whatever,
Yeah.
or Colombia.
Yeah.
But that's how you differentiate a good coffee and a commodity coffee. And the prices are quite different.
So what caused the downturn? You said at one point coffee was really the driver of the economy until maybe about the 1960s.
No,
and then, right?
Yeah, at
Right,
the end, all the
at
way
the
to
end.
the 60s.
Yeah. What happened at that point?
Mid-70s is when the problem started.
Yeah.
The cycle. Well, more countries came into play, especially
So competition.
No, but
No?
that was designed. It was designed by the three, at the time, big companies in coffee. Maxwell House is one of them. And they got the World Bank to invest heavily in, I think it's Vietnam. So they had a lousy coffee, but for some years, Vietnam, for many years, Brazil was the biggest producer, and Colombia was number 2. In 10 years, Vietnam sometimes was number 2 with lousy coffee,
Wow.
but coffee nonetheless. So that drove the price of the commodity, and that's what we failed to see. We were able and willing to accept that our coffee was a commodity, and that was a big mistake.
So it kind of went from being a kind of specialty coffee. What would you call it? Specialty,
Well,
artisanal.
You see, that's the point. When you buy the coffee, and you can check the good brands, you'll see that it's specialty. And what is now the Specialty Coffee Association started with the American Specialty Coffee Association. Now it's worldwide Specialty Coffee Association. Specialty Coffee American Association.
Yeah.
That was the original. But but over there, we're talking the US, Canada, Japan, Europe. And that's about it. Maybe
That's where
South
Guatemalan
Korea.
coffee
Maybe
goes.
South Korea. No. All specialty coffee.
All specialty coffee.
Not us.
Okay.
Africa has an amazing coffee as well.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different than the one from America.
Yeah.
America, the continent. But it is the same. The countries producing get basically nothing from 1 cup of coffee. It says that you pay. How much do you pay for a cup of coffee at Starbucks? By the way, they should pay you to drink that garbage. How much do you pay per cup?
Oh, it could be what, $5 to $7, depending on what kind of coffee.
About
you
3
have.
cents come back to the farmer.
Wow.
To the farmer. To the country, maybe 5.
Well, you know what's interesting? I started a little YouTube travel channel when I first got here to Guatemala, and I was walking by. I was actually in Zone 10, Guatemala City, and I was doing a little video, and I was really what I was trying to show in the video was there's a very international flavor now in Guatemala City that maybe people wouldn't expect. And of course, you could see a lot of outside companies, you could see some local companies, and I happened to be walking by a Starbucks by the Oakland Mall when I said, oh, you can get of course, everybody knows you can get your McDonald's and your Starbucks just about everywhere, including in Guatemala. These are, and I said something like, these are American companies. And I had somebody on my YouTube channel that was a Guatemalan comment and say, oh, Starbucks, that's Guatemalan coffee. And I didn't respond, but I thought to myself, okay, it's probably Guatemalan coffee, but that money is going back to Seattle somewhere, Starbucks headquarters, right? And that's kind of what you're getting at, I think. Right, so yes, I mean, the coffee is not, there's no coffee made in the United States. Like you're not growing, you can't.
You don't grow coffee.
Right, you don't grow.
Except in Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii, I didn't even think about that. They grow coffee in Hawaii? I haven't been there. It's one of the 3 states.
It's not very good.
Yeah, not very good. Well, it's probably expensive to get.
It's crazy expensive.
Yeah, because it's transported.
And you know what business is? That their explanation is, oh, we have to pay our farmers a first world living wage. Ah, okay. So fuck you.
Yeah.
We don't get to receive that. Only you.
Right.
So again, FY.
So what can Guatemalan farmers do? What can Guatemala do? I don't know. What's the you're put in charge of public policy today here in Guatemala, economic policy, and you want to help the coffee industry in Guatemala. What would you say are some of the things we could do here?
Well, actually, I'm not saying it. I'm doing it.
Oh. How are you doing it?
Well, the simplest way is this is like the Gordian knot. Do you know that legend?
No, the garden.
The Gordian knot.
No, I don't even know what you just said.
That's from the ancient Greek mythology. And it was said that there was a big nut, and whomever was able to open it up
Yeah.
ruled the world.
Okay.
And Alexander the Great went there, saw it, took his sword, slashed it. That's it. And off he went to conquer the world. It's not that complicated. We just need to stop giving away our coffee and selling it as a commodity.
Yeah.
And do it that task ourselves. Go outside in first world countries. For that I mean Europe, the US and Canada. For the time being, I'm forgetting about Japan, South Korea. That's a good beginning. Bring back all the added value. That's it.
So,
Simple
so
as
you
that.
would sell it directly? Is that what it?
Not just that, we can get it here. Take the chocolate, big chunks, already chocolate. Coffee, forget it. It goes to be roasted there, but by us. And sold it there. And then that added value, that makes a big difference.
So when you say sell it there, how would you change the way you sell it? Because are you basically selling it to big companies now? Is that what's going on? How's it going on?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Look, right now, the exporters just give it away to any company.
Like Starbucks, let's say.
For example, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't, by the way, they are not taking that much coffee from Guatemala anymore.
Well, Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a time where they would take up to 30-some%.
Wow.
But it's irrelevant. The prices that we get are precisely that. So the farmer gets 3 cents per cup,
Wow.
which is an insult.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to chocolate.
It's the same.
It's the same.
Because except that with these prices, it's kind of up the hill to get into growing cacao. Coffee we have a lot, although it's been lowering because many farms are abandoned as the owners decide that coffee is not a business anymore. It's not a viable business anymore. Well, that's the way they think. But cacao is something that we have to almost start. Not that we don't have, but in 2001, the sugarcane industry leased all the lands in the Pacific that were filled with cacao and destroyed everything to put cane sugar. And now, for the 4th year in a row, happily, they're losing money. And of course, there's no way to add value to something called sugar.
Yeah.
There's one, rum. Rum is another value for sugar, yes.
Yes.
But what else? That's it.
So the land would be better used to grow chocolate.
By a million times.
Yeah.
But
And
properly sold. If sold as we are selling right now, the coffee, it will make no difference.
so I remember talking to you before. You mentioned there's a certain percentage of chocolate. So Guatemala has quite the capability to produce all of its chocolate here, right?
Yeah.
Without importing any.
Yeah.
But Guatemala is importing a pretty significant percentage of chocolate.
Yes.
Why and how, and tell us where that chocolate's coming from.
Well, because the biggest seller of producer of chocolate, and they sell to the Food service. In the food service industry, almost all the time, with very few exceptions, they are looking for the cheapest price. What this company is importing is not cacao beans. They are importing cocoa paste, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. The origin of those beans is Ghana. So it's really poor quality cacao. And laden with child slave labor.
Yeah.
And that is transported to Holland and transformed into these commodities in plants capable of working anywhere from 50 to 300 tons per day. So for them it's cheaper to operate that way than to buy cacao.
So the cacao, as we explained, that's the plant. What is that? How do you? Is that the finished product, or is that the?
No, cacao is a tree.
Is a tree.
Cacao pod is a fruit.
Oh.
Cacao seed is what you have to work into making chocolate.
So the cacao
But the
seed.
cocoa bean comes from the cacao tree,
Yeah.
and the cacao tree produces cacao pods.
So all that part from the tree to the seed to the bean, all that they're getting that all from Africa,
Yes.
and that's
But not in the shape of cocoa bean.
mm,
That cocoa bean has been
in Holland.
Holland
Okay.
to be transformed into cocoa paste, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. So here, what they do is assemble it. And to me, in order to be able to call yourself, I'm doing my own chocolate, you have to start by roasting it.
Okay.
Roasting it is the second most important part of making chocolate.
So
Most important,
Can
of
someone
course, is
ro-
the cacao.
can someone roast something that comes from that process from Holland, or has it already been roasted in Holland?
Oh, no. To make cocoa paste, they roast it in Holland.
Yeah.
They do all
So,
the process.
so if someone's getting that sort of finished product in Holland, and then they're coming somehow that's getting here to Guatemala or wherever, and then they're like making their own chocolate bar. They really didn't make their own chocolate bar. They just shaped it or put a name on it or something.
See, this is a gray zone
Yeah.
because Belgium and Switzerland were good corrupt countries. They almost forced to switch the definition of the origin of the chocolate away from the cocoa itself, the cocoa bean, to the country that was manufacturing.
So when you hear Swiss chocolate, it starts in
Yes,
Africa.
you can find what cocoa can you grow in Switzerland,
Right.
Nothing. Or in Belgium, nothing. But by changing that definition, now you can find Swiss chocolate, German chocolate, Belgian chocolate, anything. What the craft chocolate industry have done, which is tiny, small, and which probably part of it, is that we don't care. We don't care about the origin of the denomination of the country. We provide the origin of the denomination of the cocoa bean. And then there's nothing they can do because they cannot buy that cacao with the prices that they are buying and selling for. It's not a competition. I mean, a good craft chocolate in Europe, 50 grams, the typical price is 10 euros. And in the States, you can check, there's so many, it's about the same, $10 or $12 for 50 gram bar. Now, go to Hershey, okay? But check the difference. What do you want? Good price and crap inside you, or good quality without the added industrial food products?
So how can the chocolate industry here in Guatemala grow? What needs to be done, and then what are you doing about it?
Same. except that different than coffee that we cannot roast here and ship, because by the time it arrives to Europe, it'll be gone. Here, we can do bulk chocolate. It's ours. It's from Guatemala. And then we ship it to Europe, mainly Germany. And over there, we just melt, temper, and do little bars. I don't care if that's called German chocolate or it. I don't care. It's ours. Because we have a German company. With all the permits to work with and everything, importation and distributing everything. And then we can open first one location, and then heavy presence online to deliver all throughout the whole European Union.
Wow.
And beyond.
So, okay, so here at Fernando's Cafe, you have behind us over here, there's a kitchen where chocolate is made. What's the
No, it's not made in the kitchen.
Where's it made?
It's a factory.
Oh, in the factory. What happens here in the kitchen?
No, we don't have a kitchen here.
Okay.
We roast in a roaster.
You're roasting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have to, unlike coffee that you roast, and if you're packing whole bean coffee, you just need to blend the different degrees of roast and then pack. Cocoa you roast with the shell. So you have to break and remove the shell, and you get the cocoa nibs that we have over there. And then you have to grind that into cocoa paste. And then it goes into the refiners and stays in the refiners until you have particle sizes of under 20 microns or under.
So okay, so so you've got the cacao here in Guatemala.
Yep.
It's being grown. How far from where we're sitting is that cacao being grown?
Well, we buy basically from all over the country that has cacao, and basically we have two main areas. One is in the Pacific slope that we still have, Suchitepecas, Mazatenango, Retaluleu, San Marcos, that's about it, in the lowlands.
Okay.
And then we have in the north, in Alta Verapaz, but in the lowlands also, we have a big part of production. There's more potential for regarding area, because it can be grown in Alta Verapaz, San Marcos, lowlands, Petén, Isabel.
And what's the process, you as an entrepreneur running this company, what's the process of making relationships with all of those farmers and where you're getting that cacao?
Well, number one, if you want to be in their good eyes, pay them right.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That's at the hardcore of our model. Pay the farmers right. Coffee and cocoa. I'm really demanding quality again because of the seed. I expect my customers to be demanding.
Yeah.
So if I pay them right, I can get a good quality.
And then, so from there, that's transported to factories? Or a factory?
Here.
Here?
Everything here.
Everything right here?
Yeah.
Oh, so how is it turned from cacao to the chocolate?
Yeah. Roasting,
Oh, okay.
taking out the shell, grinding into thick cocoa paste, refiners to make the what is called the European type chocolate, which is a term that I don't like. That means that is at least 20 microns or slightly
Okay.
less than that. And then conching, which is probably the most difficult term to explain, but it's getting rid of unwanted flavors with movement and heat. And all those steps are chemical changes. That means you cannot go back if you miss, unless you under roast. You can continue roasting, yes, but if you over roast,
That's
it.
done. Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
over.
The last, only the last step, which is tempering the chocolate, that belongs in to the world of physics, because you're playing with crystals.
Yeah.
So if you miss with the tempering, you just melt again and temper. That's why we can ship big lots, 2 kilos of chocolate, put it in the tempering machine that is going to melt that, put it in tempering temperature, and mold just in Europe. But we don't want to work with, we don't want to be hand tempering
Yeah.
the amount of chocolate that we plan to sell there.
So how much do, if you could say, how much do you produce here in your company, chocolate maybe each year or whatever, and how much chocolate does Guatemala produce on a whole as well, if you know those numbers?
I have the capability of producing 1.5 tons per month here.
1.5 tons per month.
That's
Capability.
And everything is in metric. So it's 1,500 kilos.
Okay.
Depending on the chocolate that we're making, we can do up to 2 tons. Some chocolates take more time than others. But I think that we work for half our capability right now, and selling basically only in Guatemala and for our customers.
When you say half your capability, your company?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So let's say 1 ton per month. And that's what we sell to our, here in our shop. For selling to other companies, we only have 1. It's not worth it to go to any chain supermarket. I only have 1 because there are
One company that you sell to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So otherwise you sell here in your shop, people can pick it up in Fernando's Cafe in Antigua?
And we export to our customers, like you saw today with DHL.
Yeah, yeah. So where are your customers? All over? These are individual customers?
We could be shipping worldwide because DHL goes worldwide. But the thing is, with all the restrictions and all we are only shipping to the US.
Okay. Now, we're probably going to air this podcast after Christmas, but we're sitting here, almost 2 months, before Christmas, and there's a lot of supply chain issues going on all over the world, including in the U.S. And of course, people are just so concerned about getting their Christmas gifts on time, right? But is that affecting you at all? Will that, in terms of how people can get chocolate, maybe people, let's just say customers in the United States that might be wanting to order some kind of chocolate gifts or something for Christmas, or for anything, really?
No, because
DHL goes direct.
DHL, and they have their own planes, they have their own trucks, they have their own logistics. So no, actually.
Yeah, so you're not depending on like chips.
Of course,
or things
we're
like
going to be affected by the prices of fuel.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, that has to be passed to the
Right.
consumer. There's
So
no other way.
DHL is at some point, if they haven't already, raised the prices on shipping because of the fuel.
They
right?
adjust the prices up or down
Yeah.
every month.
Wow. So you see that.
But that's blind. They take the price of the general fuel,
Yeah.
because it's a different fuel to fly for planes and for trucks, and they do it with official data from the last month, and they adjust accordingly. So I know that comes Monday,
Yeah.
and that is called the fuel surcharge.
Yeah.
I know it's going to go up.
Yeah.
That's why I was
And then
rushing.
you'll likely be passing that on to the
Of course,
consumer,
I
right?
have to.
Yeah. So, okay, so we talked about the amount of chocolate you produce, and the way that Guatemala can stop importing so much chocolate and produce itself and export chocolate to places and maybe really compete with some of those other places. What is your plan, and can people invest in what you're doing and be part of it?
Well, yeah, as I said, our goal is to have the whole supply chain under our supervision, from the bee to the consumer, even more so than now. No, pretty much like we do now with DHL, except that we are going to be in a country that is willing to pay for the same 50-gram bar that we sell here. Well, we sell that to the States, that includes the shipping,
Right.
for $5. They are paying for that $10 plus shipping.
Oh, wow. So in the States, the chocolate is about,
Craft.
The craft chocolate that you're selling to the States is twice as much as what they walked in here and bought it, plus shipping.
Well, if they come here, it's 3 times more expensive, because here is around $3 and change.
Okay.
5 is we pay. With 5, we are paying DHL.
Okay.
So we ended up having about the same.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
But by doing this more work, that implies more revenue
Yeah.
and more money coming back to the country. And that's the money we need to develop.
So you're now trying to raise some capital funds to
Yes.
to invest in. Is it more machinery?
It's,
I mean, the whole process that
it's
you just laid
everything.
out. Yeah.
It's everything, because we have good machines, but for example, our fastest machine is able to process 40 kilos in 60 hours. There are machines that we can fit that. There are machines that we cannot fit in the building. I'm not
Yeah.
discussing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are machines that we can fit in that can deliver 140 kilos per day.
Wow. Per day.
Per day. And then if you have, if you pass that into a tempering machine that is able to temper 120 kilos per hour.
How many kilos is a ton? 1,000?
1,000.
1,000 kilos.
Metric, the metric
Yeah.
ton.
Yeah.
By
A
ton,
metric ton. So I don't know what.
Let's,
Yeah.
1,000 kilos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's 2.2046
Yeah.
pounds. So, but let's stick to metric
Yeah.
and kilos. So if we have a machine that is able to temper 120 kilos per hour, wow, suddenly our production cost is down.
And then the output of that is Fernando's doing pretty well. He's selling more chocolate. His staff is growing.
And
he's-
also the farmers.
Yeah, and the farmers have more work. They're producing more output.
Yep.
So you've got, like, with just one investment into one company, yours, into growing the output, you could be helping like hundreds and hundreds of more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mind this, all the so-called natural disasters that we have had in the past few years
Mm-hmm.
are not really natural. We are making it by destroying the land, the trees,
Yeah.
Sending the rivers to a different place so they are not running under the mountains and everything. All that is the cause of many of the environmental problems that we have.
And then on top of that, you've got, you know, your government here in Guatemala having to
Oh, let's
spend.
not talk about
Well,
that already.
But I'm just talking about the like in terms of helping in natural disasters, helping in infrastructure. Right, there's a lot of expense that goes into that. And then on top of that, when there's these natural problems, these so-called natural catastrophe problems, you have a lot of international aid coming in, like from the United States and things like that. So you can kind of reduce a lot of that by helping improve the lives and economic
Of
capacity
course.
of the people here.
Of course.
Right? So you kind of take them out of the equation a little bit.
Let me show you a picture how the soil of good cacao looks because if you have that,
So it changes the soil.
look at that. Look at that amount of leaves
Yeah.
are protecting the soil. So, and that's in Alta Verapaz in La Chua, a place where heavy rain falls. I can provide you
Yeah,
good
we'll put
pictures.
that. We'll put those up.
I can provide good pictures
Yeah, yeah.
that I have taken.
Yeah.
This is from off the internet, so it's low quality. But it doesn't matter how strong the rain is. By the time it hits the soil, it's going to be a drizzle. So no soil is going to be moved.
Yeah.
But this is growing. This you have cacao. You have other trees protecting the cacao and the soil. And then doesn't matter if you're growing cacao or coffee like this. It's irrelevant. It's protected. And that's what we have forgotten. That Guatemala doesn't have an agricultural vocation. And how do I dare to say that?
You said an agricultural education?
Vocation.
Or vocation, an agricultural vocation.
How do I dare to say that? Because of our topography. Our topography is telling us, give me trees. Well, trees there are. You need trees to grow coffee, so the bean develops slowly. Take a look at that coffee that is under the shade. It's already, and that's lousy quality.
Yeah.
If you see the coffee around in Antigua, you won't see anyone that is red. Not even starting to get red. It's green. Big size, green. That one that is under the sun, is that quality and red.
So better quality is green?
No, better quality is slow.
Oh, slow.
It will be red in December
Yeah.
at the same altitude, and that means better quality.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so we've
And
talked.
cacao is the same. Cacao needs the same, not to develop slowly, but to be protected.
Yeah.
But together, they make an ecosystem that is where it's impossible to have a mudslide, which is the main problem that we've had with the very weak storms that we have received.
Yeah.
Because Mitch was not
That was a hurricane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a mean hurricane in Nicaragua, Honduras, but by the time it hit Guatemala and found the only spot, the Ottawa River Basin, it was running at 60 kilometers per hour. That's not something that should have been a problem. And it was a big problem, but just because we don't have trees on the land.
Yeah.
And then, can you call that a natural disaster? No, it is man-made.
Right. Well, so shifting the subject just a little bit here, there are many who want to invest or buy what is called fair trade coffee. And I noticed on your website you talk about smart trade coffee.
Yeah, fair trade.
yeah.
Fair trade means absolutely nothing. When it comes to the price that they are paying, let's say that the commodity price brings to the farmer 3 cents. Well, maybe fair trade brings 4. That ain't the big difference. So our idea is completely different and treated in a whole different way. And it depends on how much are we able to bring back to the country that we are going to be able to.
So let's say in the future, okay, so right now, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think some people are getting duped a bit on this fair trade stuff, and maybe some stuff is more fair trade than others. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
No, actually, if we're talking about coffee fair trade, which is by far the biggest fair trade commodity that is marketed throughout the world, that is not aimed to your mind. I don't care about it is aimed to your heart.
Yes.
I don't care for your heart. I want your mind. I want you to think and think what you're doing, think what you're acting upon.
But if you're a consumer, let's say you're in the United States,
Yep.
and you don't have time to think because your coffee's just one out of 50 things you're buying every week or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I want to buy some fair trade coffee. People told me that's the better coffee to help the farmers. So I see on the shelf and I see something's marketed fair trade, and that's what I get. What more should they be thinking about? How should they be approaching the subject?
Well, that is something that for sure fair trade won't address,
Yeah.
because that's the biggest small little lie. Just imagine the economics. They do have a more streamlined supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as ours, but quite close. So I think maybe you can corroborate the prices for fair trade coffee.
Yeah, maybe Luis can do that.
Yep. Can you corroborate the prices of fair trade coffee
We'll
for
see
the
if
farmer?
we'll see if he can do that research during the interview.
It's easy. Check it out. Organic and conventional. Last time I checked, because I don't follow them, last time I checked it was around 141 cents per pound.
Okay.
Not 1 pound, but 12 ounces of that coffee are typically sold for $16 to $18. 12 ounces. Where's the fairness? It's bullshit. Pure bullshit.
Okay, so how are we going to change how that's market, or how are we going to
Smart
change
trade?
smart trade? So
Mhm.
I haven't heard of smart trade before.
No, it's ours.
It's yours. You, Fernando?
It's ours.
Um,
We registered it.
It's trademarked.
Yeah, I think we registered in 2006. I don't know.
Wow.
But here, every 10 years you have to renew. We already did that.
So 15 years you've
Yeah.
trademarked this, but how much do people know about it?
Not much, because we have been keeping it for the time when we were ready to pounce. We are. This is the time.
Okay. So you heard it here first on the Agents of Innovation podcast. Smart Trade Coffee.
Yeah.
This is the way to go to help. Tell me, what exactly does it do the best?
Okay, first,
And is it just coffee, or is it also with chocolate? Smart Trade.
also with
Everything.
cacao.
All sorts of things.
We started it with coffee, but immediately transported it to cacao. And it goes like this. First, the farmer gets $2 per pound. Period. We are not going to obligate them to pay dues that fair trade does. The farmer has to pay.
And fair trade gets about 141 a pound. Is that what you're saying?
141, the farmer, they have to pay something.
But they also, and that farmers
They have to be
pay.
certified.
Okay.
That is another
Oh,
issue.
to kind of get into the
Yeah.
yeah.
We certify them
Okay.
with quality for no payment. We pay them $2 a pound. And then, well, when we sell here, it's very easy. We sell the coffee for $7. So $2 to the farmer, by the time you roast, and you lose about 18% of weight, that's $2.36. And we do pack 1 pound.
Yeah.
We don't cheat our customers,
Yeah.
giving them a 1 pounder bag with 12 ounces. It's 1
Yeah.
pound.
Yeah.
So right there you have $236 when you account for the weight loss. And then we figure that around $236 is what takes us to roast, the packaging, labor, the upkeep of the premise where we sell the coffee. And then when you deduct and we sell for about roughly $7, give or take the change of the dollar. But when you take 236 minus 236, we keep about 230. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Then we can say we are getting exactly the same as the farmer.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
That's smart.
That's smart trade.
Because
So
whomever we touch They never go back to smart trade. When the smart trade people come back, oh, we want it? No.
So, let's just hypothetically say that the CEO of Starbucks is listening to this podcast.
There's nothing they can do.
No, but let's say they want to help you.
No.
No?
No.
I mean, I'm just being hypothetical. This
Especially
is
him. Forget it. He's an asshole.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking of, all these corporations these days, they're getting pushed up against by a lot of activists and things like that. And
Well,
what if public pressure came to bear on whatever coffee company, call it Starbucks, call it whoever, and they said, hey, we're exposing Starbucks. They're not really fair trade. They're screwing over these little farmers. Starbucks, you need to start buying the smart trade coffee, and that opened up a world. Would you work with companies like that, or how would that work?
It ain't gonna happen. First. Second, they can afford it because they are locked in their own.
They got
world.
all sorts of contracts, and they got all sorts
Yeah.
of what their obligations are.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
something. Nowadays, this is the beauty of if you work. This is the good part of the global communication. There is a bad part as well.
Yeah.
But the good part is that you, as a very small company, you can act as a very big company because you can communicate with anybody that you want.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can target your audience.
So let's say
Extremely well.
someone's listening now and they're interested in either investing in smart trade coffee or buying it as a consumer. Where should they go? Where they just come to your website?
Yes, and or they can. We have social media. It is,
Okay, that's Fernando's Cafe with a K.
Yeah.
K-A-F-F-E.
I'll give you.
We'll put it on. We'll put it in
I'll
the
give
show
you the
notes and
different-
everything.
I'll give you a different. We have several, but Monica upstairs is the one that handles all that. Moni. So.
That's fine. Well, we'll get
ask her
to that.
Bring all our social media so you can.
Yeah, we'll put
browse.
that here in
Well,
the show notes wherever people are listening or watching. So they
And
can
we
get to it.
have a presentation in English
Okay.
on why to invest here, why it is useful to invest here. We have one in English, Spanish, and after that, of course, we have our executive summary that we're willing to give
Yeah.
to somebody that is interested. And then, of course, we have the business model, but that's only for the investors.
Right. So people who are interested in talking to you individually, they can reach out and get a
They
presentation,
can
a
get
slide
up
deck.
all the way to the executive summary.
Okay.
And if they invest, they get the business plan.
So last couple questions here for you. If someone wants to open a business in Guatemala, such as a coffee shop or a chocolate shop, and I'm not trying to create competition for you, but what advice would you have for any aspiring entrepreneurs here in Guatemala?
Well, you have to be ready to work hard
Ready to work hard.
and love what you do, because if you're going to be working hard and long hours, and for example, in 21 years, we work here from Monday to Sunday. Only to this time, because of the situation, we closed at 4. Our regular hours were from 7 to 7, from Monday to Saturday, and from 7 to noon on Sunday. And most holidays we would work, including January 1st, December 25th, of course, less hours, from 8 to 11 in both cases. And I told them, if you go out and get drunk, don't bother. But if you want good breakfast and you're able to have it, we're here from 8 to 11.
Now, Fernando, do you have any favorite books that you like, especially some that might be helpful to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Books. No.
No, nothing you want to recommend,
Not,
or just something that's been influential or impactful for you in your life.
well, I guess many different books, but none are related to. I don't read about books about.
You just do.
Entrepreneurs, yeah.
Yeah.
Learn a lot about what you do. I read a lot of books about how to coffee and how to chocolate, and I still do. And there's videos as well. Anyway, but that doesn't mean that will give you the drive to withstand that. Many people tell me, how can you? I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm never bored.
Well, that sounds for sure. That's good. You're passionate. You're never bored, and you've got an incredible plan. What do you think? I'm sure Guatemala has changed a lot throughout your lifetime. What can you say about that? Let's leave it with this. And what can you say about sort of your vision for the future of Guatemala and maybe the Guatemalan economy and the Guatemalan people?
Well, yeah. During my lifetime, Guatemala has changed for the worse.
For the worse?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
For example, when I was a kid in elementary, I remember vividly the final exams every year. We would go out. It would be raining. It was October, like around mid-October, and it was raining, heavy rains, and we didn't have any mudslides. Any. The only thing that we had in the Pacific was bridges destroyed, but that was because the bridges were too narrow, too close to the river. So as soon as they extended that finished. But then we started having mudslides all over the country, and we didn't have that. And every year it is worse.
Wow.
And worse and worse.
And is that because of the way people have kind of abused the land?
That's because of the monoculture cultivars.
Yeah.
Cane sugar has a lot to do with it. Cotton was before, and just so you know, the last lands that were used to grow cotton are still sterilized. And they still have about 20 more years. And the last time they used, if I'm correct, was 1989.
So one of the biggest challenges for Guatemala, as you see it right now, is the way the land's been used, and then you can't. A lot of times it's been destroyed for such a it's been destroyed, but destroyed in a way that it won't be able to be used for a long time.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we have to switch. I mean, we have great plains to grow our delicious vegetables. They're top quality.
Yeah.
But you're not going to grow vegetables in something that looks like this.
On a slope, yeah.
Over there, you can grow cacao or coffee protected by the trees. Diversity in what is called in Spanish what is the name?
What is the name in Spanish?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, Sistema Agroforestal or agroforestry system.
Okay.
That's what we need in Guatemala.
Yeah. Well, so people need to invest in agroforestry system because you're going to create more trees that can then help produce more crops.
Protect the soil
Yeah.
and then produce and money. Because a good farmer of cacao, this guy, I'll show you, he's able to produce 2 tons per hectare.
Wow.
That means if I buy the 2 tons from him, it is $8,820 per hectare.
Wow.
And a hectare is 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
You have an idea. I don't know if you are familiar with hectares.
No,
But
thank you
acres
for
sure
informing
you are.
us.
So imagine that in 2.5 acres, you can get 8,820.
Yeah.
That is real money. And not just that. When you see the presentation that I'm sending you, from the money that is coming back, we are willing to invest 30% of that money in partnership with the same farmers of both coffee and cocoa, roughly aiming to half and half. The companies are going to be 51-49 because 50-50 is a losing proposition. But the idea is that we provide all the money and they provide all the work.
Well, that's good. Well, you're
And
doing.
then we have chocolate that is not just from bean to bar like now, that is called from tree to bar.
From tree to bar
Yes, because we are
to chocolate bar.
only from the farms that are coming from there. From tree to bar means that you own the plantations. And that's the idea. And that's another added value. From bean to bar is already a very nice added value, but from tree to bar is a step up.
Great. Well, Fernando, this has been a really great conversation. I've learned so much, and this is not my first conversation with you, and I keep learning more every time I talk to you. So I'm sure our listeners learned a lot, and also now we know the path forward for Guatemala, for the coffee farmers, for the chocolate, the cacao, and the land and the forestry, and then how, really we're going to hopefully uplift more people here in Guatemala through some of the plans and ideas you have, and not just ideas, but the actual, what you've put in place here. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, we'll put all the information in the show notes. And if they come to Guatemala, of course they're going to come to Antigua, and of course they need to come to Fernando's Cafe. Great place, and ask for Fernando because he's here working all the time. And unless he's busy sending orders through DHL, he might actually be able to say hello to you and maybe enjoy a cup of coffee with you. So it's been great getting to know you.
Sure, that's a very nice part of my life.
Yeah, right.
Meeting new people.
Yeah, and Antigua has people come from all over the world, so it's a great place to be and probably a wonderful place to live.
Yeah, learn. As well.
Yeah, live and learn. Well, that's what we'll do. Well, thank you, Fernando. Thanks for being on the Agents of Innovation podcast.
My pleasure.